Hey, sportsman, John Bergsman here from the Great Lakes Insider Fishing Report with another awesome fishing report. This one coming from the southeastish, real top of the southeast region, which is going to be with Captain Lance Valentine, Saginaw Bay, and the greater Saginaw Bay fishery. Lance, as always, I'm sure the fishing, well, today is a little windy. That's probably why you're on shore. But if it wasn't for the wind, the fishing's been stellar there at the bay, hasn't it?
The fishing has been great. We're kind of getting into that, time of year. We kind of get in a late summer funk right now. So, fishing's kind of starting to kind of wane a little bit, but it has been a fantastic, fantastic summer. And, we are excited about what's going to happen here when the water turns over and we get into fall. So,
And that's
it's been all in all, it's been a great season.
And that's what we really want to talk about. A lot of times you wait until it happens to talk about it. But when you get in this little 1 to 2 week funk, we thought that this would be a great time for Lance to give some of your knowledge on this for the guys that are thinking, okay, the second, third week of September, this is gonna go back into full gear. And what should guys be thinking about setting their sets up for, whether they're doing their own boat, if they're looking for a charter with you? I know it's like get in line, but I'm sure you probably got a few days open. But what does a guy need to do to set his rods up to take advantage of that great fall bite?
So right now, again, we're kind of in this late summer funk, and if you are going to go fishing the next couple weeks, my advice this time of year is I tell people to avoid the middle. And what I mean by that is you're either going to fish really, really shallow water, shallower than 10 or 12 feet, or you're going to fish the deepest water you can find, which in my part of the bay is 25 to 28 feet. That 14, 15, 18, 20 feet that was good a couple weeks ago is no longer good. The fish are either way, way shallow right now in the shallow weed cover, or they're really, really deep, chasing deep water bait fish. So avoid the middle. Now, another couple weeks, we get into late September, we're going to start to see a turnover, and we're starting to already see fish starting to come back on major drop-offs. So they're following the river channel. There's a major break at about 18, 20 feet that John, comes from all the way up to Whitestone Point, all the way down the west side of the bay, all the way into the Saginaw River. They're coming around the corner again at the thumb and hitting that major break. That's basically the east side of what we call the slot. So these fish are starting to move back. Best way to catch fish in the fall is big crankbaits. I like, Reef Runner 800 series, size 11, size 13 flicker shads, big Rapala tail dancers, big husky jerks, big, big, big baits. Don't be afraid to put a 4, 5, 6, 7-inch crankbait out this time of year to start attracting these bigger fish. And you'll see in the next couple of weeks, you'll see a drop in numbers, and then you'll see a pickup in numbers, and then you'll see a pickup in size. So our big, big, big fish season, a little different than Lake Erie. Up here, our big fish season starts about the first week of October. It's a little bit earlier than we get down to here in Ohio. So if you've got a couple of weeks to kind of get through this funk, get up there late September, start fishing with big crankbaits on major drop-offs. Look for very, very steep drop-offs. You're going to have a heck of a time beating the Saginaw Bay fishing this fall.
Yeah, that's a fact, and that's some great advice, Lance. Anybody who's an experienced fisherman like you and I on the bay knows that as the water cools and as that seasonal progression happens from the middle of September all the way up into literally Christmas. I know you and I are kind of crazy people, and we're willing to actually be out there right after Thanksgiving dinner and when people are out Christmas shopping, because that can be, with those big crankbaits, some of the absolute best time of the year to catch big fish in Saginaw Bay. I know Saginaw Bay for the last 3 months has been kicking out nice limits of the beautiful 15 to 20 inch fish with the random bigger fish. But in the fall, Lance, this becomes a big fish fishery again, doesn't it?
Yeah, you were catching, our average right now on a charter, our average fish is probably 17 inches. As the winter goes on or summer goes on into fall, that's going to start to change. And by early mid-October, it's not uncommon to have 15, 20, 25 fish in the live well, and they're all 4 pounds or bigger, and you're going to have a couple in there that are 8, 9, 10 pounds. So the fall fishery adjusts as those bigger fish come back. I'm not sure all of them leave the inner bay. I think some of them do go really, really shallow that guys kind of avoid. I think there's a really good shallow water bite in the summertime. We'll talk about that next summer when we start doing reports again. But I think a lot of those big fish, and they, the biggest thing is they come to major breaks. That's what I want guys to understand. Fall fishing is really not flats fishing like summer fishing in. Fall fishing is drop-off fishing. Fall fishing is breaks. Now, the fish may be on the top of the break in the shallower water as opposed to the bottom of the break where it's deeper, but they're going to be really, really close to the most distinct, most major break in the area. They like to follow that like a highway to come back to the river. So look for those major breaks, fish the top side, fish the bottom side. It's okay to fish shallow, but that has to be shallow water really close to a steep break. If guys can do that, use their electronics, because bait fish and game fishes that time of year are really grouped tightly together. Find fish before you put baits in the water, get on them. You can catch some great, great fish in the fall. Even in late summer, starting here about third week of September, you can really get some great fish on Saginaw Bay.
Beautiful. Well, thanks again for an awesome report, Lance. We'll be talking to you again in a couple of weeks, and hopefully by that time, that fishing that we've just got done talking about will be happening there on Saginaw Bay.
All right, John, looking forward to it, buddy. Thank you.
You bet. Talk to you later. So let's just recap what Lance had to say there off of Saginaw Bay. One of the baits he's referring to, and I'm showing you right here in the little close-up cam, is this is a great big P10, and this is custom painted. And these are the types of baits, whether it's the big 800 series Reef Runner with a shallow lip. This here, a Strike King, this is one of my favorite baits. This is a Strike King banana shad. This is also custom painted. Banana shads are awesome baits. They dive basically the same exact dive curve as a bandit. And Strike King has done really good at designing this bait to really run true at a quicker speed, and that's one of the reasons I've started to use that bait more often, is that I can move my speed around from 1.7 to 2.5, and I don't have to worry about the bait blowing out. Like you said, we're not going to talk so much about crawler harnesses, small spoons, and spinners here. That the bite is shifting, and it's shifting to crankbaits, and it's shifting to edges. So we'll see you in a couple of weeks, and we'll let you know where the bite is happening here on Saginaw Bay. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Great Lakes Insider Fishing Report from the Southeast region, Saginaw Bay.